guys. We did it.
All right.
We did it. It's taken us an hour to get there, right?
Just about.
Which is kind of embarrassing, but the reality is that some of us are good at some things and others are good at other things. And today is not my day when it comes to camera stuff.
I just want to add, it was Frank's page.
It was Frank's page, yeah. So Frank did it. But hey, guys, listen. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for being patient with us. We've got a really, really special guest in the show or in the studio today for our second official Level Up podcast. This is one of my favorite people on the planet. There's like Jenny, my girls, and then there's Mark Boggs. Sorry, Casey. Frank is at the bottom of the list today. But guys, Mark Boggs, he is, thanks for being here, first of all, Mark. Mark is, how old are you, Mark?
I'm 23, just turned in September.
23 years old. He's a baby. He's 10 years younger than me. And I've been called a baby in recent conversations. So he's 23 years old, and this guy has, we met him a few years ago. He responded to an ad that Jonathan Fisher was running for a sales guy. We were just looking for a guy that could come in and, that was willing to follow a process, that was willing to come in and just kind of, learn our deal. And we not only found one of our best guys that we have within our umbrella of companies, but we found we got a good friend out of him and just a lot of fun stuff. So Mark, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? We know what you do. We're going to get into what you do, but tell us about yourself, man. How old are you? Where are you from?
Absolutely. So, as Nate was saying, I'm 23 years old, 23 and a month old. And
23 and a month.
I am from the big city of Delphus, Ohio. Big shout out to Delphus.
Hold on a second. Remember when you're a baby and people identify you in months? So you're 277 months old.
277
just a little guy, just 277-month-old little guy.
That's right.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's right. No, but I'm from Delphus, Ohio, small town. I was born in Scotland, but I was raised my whole life in Delphus, Ohio. So, yeah,
Scotland, dude, that's crazy. I'm trying to share this.
Braveheart.
I'm trying to share this stream here. So guys, if you're joining us, share the stream, invite people, share it. So Mark Boggs was born in Scotland. He moved to the U.S. when he was just a youngster, right?
Yeah,
just
young
little one.
I was only 24 months.
24 months.
At that point.
So Mark Boggs moves here when he's 2 years old. Not to get super personal, but did Dad come or was just Mom came?
No. Well, my grandfather was actually in the Navy,
and that's U.S. Navy.
Yep, in the U.S. Navy. And he met my grandmother in Scotland, and they lived there for a while. And they had all intentions of living in Scotland for a long time, for the rest of their lives. But the economy over there just was not supportive of my grandfather, and we had to make the move back home.
Nice. So you came here as just a wee little one.
A wee little lad.
Side note, Michelle Boggs, if you're watching, she's got a Scottish accent, which was the coolest thing. We didn't know that. I knew that. I knew your story. I knew that you're from Scotland. I knew your family's history, but I had no idea that you were your family actually still talked like they're from Scotland. So
yeah,
pretty awesome. But anyway, so Mark Boggs, 23 years old. When we met you, you responded to an ad. What were you doing before you met us? So tell us about high school, first of all.
Yes. So in high school, I was very active in sports, not so active in school.
Good.
Yep. I think I graduated with a 2.4 cumulative GPA, which landed me 57 out of 75 in my graduating class.
Nice. 75 people.
Not bad. But so from there, after that I went to school. I was a big jock, so I played a lot of football, played a lot of track, and I went to Defiance College after that, where I wanted to go to study business. I always knew I had some kind of business mind. Didn't know a lot about sales or much about that. But yeah, so after I went to college, I was shelling out a bunch of money for something I just couldn't really relate to. And so after a year in school, I quit going there.
So why'd you quit?
Well, I tell you, there was a couple factors. One of the biggest ones was I was going for business, and I was talking to some of my business teachers, and I asked them what kind of business they were involved with, and every single one of them said, "Well, I've never been involved with business."
The same story, man.
Yeah,
that same exact story.
I've never been involved with business, and I'm just a teacher. So I'm thinking in my head, well, why can't I just buy the book?
Fuck, are you going to teach me?
Yeah, why can't I just buy the book that you're preaching?
There's got to be a business for dummies book or something like that.
There's got to be something.
So okay. So you decided pretty early on. You're like, you know what, college isn't for me. And then when we met you, you were actually working for Time Warner Cable, right?
That's correct.
To be careful about that. But so you were working for a company. You were in sales, right? So guys, the purpose of this show, if you don't know this already, the purpose of the show is we want to bring to you. I want to be able to share with you some of the things that I've learned over the years. I also didn't go to college. I tried it for like a couple months, but I also didn't go to college. I also learned pretty quickly that sales was really the only way that I was going to be able to achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. It was the only real way that I saw that the big hitters in the world were making money. And so what I learned was that I don't want to trade an hour of my life for $1, even if it's an hour for $10, an hour for $20, an hour for $100. At the end of the day, it's still a cap, and I wanted to have full control over it. So that's why I like guys like you, and I think that's why you've meshed so well with our group. But going back to like when we met you, you were in sales, and we want to talk about what it takes to make it in this world, what people are doing to actually achieve success, and most importantly, like what is the vehicle that you need to be in. So today we're going to talk to Mark about, how he came from being basically, so you're an immigrant, actually.
Yeah.
You're basically an immigrant. So we got an immigrant in the studio, so that's cool. Yeah. So basically, how do you go from your dad stayed in Scotland, your biological dad.
That's correct.
Your mom came to America. You're a 2-year-old little baby. Your mom have a bunch of money, just sitting on a pile of, I see her on here too, Michelle Boggs.
We did
sitting
not.
on a boatload of cash.
Yeah, right.
No?
Right. Enough to get by, and we never noticed that we didn't have any.
Sure.
So
not a bunch of money. College, you did it, but then you dropped out, so you don't have a college degree.
Correct.
And here you are in school. You're dropping out of school, trying to figure out what it is. So I want you guys to think about this. If you're watching this, I want you to just think about this. How many of us were kind of fed the dream that you have to go to college in order to make it? And how many of you out there, I know some of you, I see some of you guys on here right now, how many of you made that decision on your own that like, look, this isn't gonna cut it. Like I'm gonna have to do more. I'm gonna have to kind of take control of my own life if I want to have the things I wanted. And so we're gonna share with you a little bit about that today with Mark Boggs. So Mark, you were working with another company. You were basically going door to door for Facebook purposes. Let's not say that company's name again, but you were going door to door. You were basically in a sales job, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And what were you selling?
We were selling cable services, phone services, and internet as well.
Okay. So there might be some people watching this that are actually in that same world that are selling that. But let's be real here. If I'm thinking about a real, true, genuine sales job like what you're doing now and what you're actually training and helping other people make a living in now, there's no cap in sales, right? Like in a real sales job, if you're watching this and you're in a true grind out sales job, no one is ever going to cap your income. But the position you were in, I mean, what was your average commission? What were you making?
On an average deal, you could get anywhere from about 50 to, a top deal would be about $150.
$100, 150. How many? You got to sell a lot of deals.
You have to sell.
Let's do the
a
math
lot
on that.
Deals,
We were talking earlier. I didn't do it. So if you want to make $200,000 a year, let's just do the math here. You got to do 150 if every deal was the best deal you could sell. That's 1,333 deals a year. I mean, if you're working 365 days a year, you got to have 4 deals a day
at least. Right.
3.65 deals a day.
And that's connected, installed, everything.
Yeah, so I would say that's a good example. That wasn't actually the topic of today. I didn't want to I wasn't specifically talking about that. But I do want to mention, and I think when I was with Brad Lee, we talked about this a little bit, that there's a lot of people that think they're in sales. There's a lot of jobs that have the title sales on it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, a true sales job, if you're really a salesman, you're going out and you're helping somebody. You're usually introducing something that they've never heard of or that they've maybe heard of, but they didn't really know they needed it. And you're creating, or not creating, but you're identifying problems that they have and you're finding solutions for them. That's a real salesperson. So you're finding problems that they have, you're identifying them, they're understanding that they have the problems, and then you're offering a solution to them that will ultimately help them with that problem. And what you were doing was really, if we're honest, you were kind of just what you was
Well, you know, Nate, it's in that business. There's your prime market is your high turnover areas.
okay.
You know, where you're going into the neighborhoods, a little bit lower income neighborhoods, where there's a lot of people going in and out of
Going to the
houses.
hood, Mark.
Yeah, we're in the hood. we were in the hood. I didn't want to say it for Facebook, but we
That's
were.
all right.
Yeah, we were in the hood. You know, I mean, that's just the matter of the fact. That's,
so you're basically
that's where
going
it
and
was at.
saying you're paying $40 a month and I can do it for 35.
Essentially, you know.
Okay. So how hard was that?
Well, at the very beginning, you know, it was a shock, you know, because you get up there and you're a little tongue-tied. You don't know exactly how to present yourself. You know, so there is a little bit of a learning curve, but after you learn just a little bit, you know, it's a very, very simple job.
Wow.
You know? Very simple.
So let's talk a little bit about how we met you and kind of what's happened then. So if you're just joining us, Mark Boggs, he's how old were you when you were doing that? When I met you, how old were you?
I was 19 knocking doors.
Okay, he's 19 years old. I met you when you were 19. You were almost turning 20, right?
Right, correct.
You're knocking doors. You're basically knocking on doors saying, hey, look, you're paying this for your current product, and I think I can give you the same thing for a little less. So
Right.
not to take anything away from it, because I'm super proud of you for identifying early that maybe college wasn't for you. And again, full disclaimer, I'm not suggesting that college isn't for everyone, but I am
Right,
suggesting
for sure.
that for most people, and for not for most, but for a lot of people, you know, I don't know, college is you're basically determining at 18 years old what you're going to do for the rest of your life and where you're going to do it, and it just, to me, it's given up all the control. So for me, it's not that's not my ideal scenario. But you identified that early. You got into a position. You noticed quickly, because this is what's really cool. Mark, what was the average guy making in your industry? You told me earlier 60 grand.
Yeah, it was about 60 grand was what they advertised.
Okay,
You know.
60 grand a year. Just, I want you guys to make note of this. 19-year-old kid, he's noticing at 19 years old that I'm in a job where most people are making 60. What was the best guy making?
The top guy was about 100 and maybe
105 grand.
Yeah.
So the average was 60, and the absolute best was 105. And so Mark Boggs, little 19-year-old, little Scottish boy, he decides, I need to find something different, right? That's
Right.
basically what you did.
Right.
So,
Well, you know, Nate, I just looked at the market. I looked at the industry, and it just wasn't something that I seen that was, you know, going to be something that I could carry on the rest of my life.
Sure.
You know?
And so you made a decision. You had what honestly most college kids go to school hoping to make 60 grand a year, but you
Sure.
basically decided that you were going to go and take a chance and put an ad, or you responded to an ad that we were running to come work with us, right? So
Right.
he met Jonathan Fisher. Jonathan Fisher, little plug to him. Jonathan he actually worked with Grant for a while. Those of you that know Grant Cardone, he was doing webinars for Grant. He was the guy that signed me up on Cardone University. He was basically like a contractor with them that was just kind of doing webinars. But anyway, Jonathan came and worked with us full time, and he basically was running ads. You met him, and what? I guess I'm curious. What appealed? What did you like about what you saw in our opportunity?
Yeah. So,
Side note: this isn't a plug for my business. That's not what I'm doing it. But I'm asking it more
Right.
for you.
Right. Just specifically, you know, going door to door, there was a lot of different things that I would think about. Like, what do people need? You know, I'm looking at in the cable industry. This is all my background is, so I'm just kind of basing it off of that. In that, they have one of three people. You know, one of three providers, and if they don't already have it, you know, they've probably already, or they don't want cable or anything like that. So what I thought was really most appealing about the ad is that it was a young, growing company in the energy market.
Sure.
You know, you take a step back and you look, well, you know, 100% of homes, they all use energy. You know, so there's got to be a need. There's a need that needs filled. You know?
There it is.
Exactly.
You did it. So Mark Boggs, smart kid. Look, he figured out at a young age that he needed to be in sales first. So the first step, if you're watching this, part of what I want to do, so today is going to be kind of a plug for Mark Boggs. I want to give him some attention and give him some love. So share the stream, add him on Facebook, blow this kid up because he's awesome. But so part of it is that I want to, hey, Daniel, I see you're posting this picture, dude. Send me a shirt, man. Casey, send him message him. Let's get some shirts from him. We'll rock that shirt, bro. But hey, listen, what I want to do is I want to provide some data for you guys. I want to show you a couple things. Number one, I want to be able to show you, if you're a friend of mine or if you're a follower of this show or of the people that I know, I want you to know that you could take control. Mark decided to do it when he was 19, but if you're 20, 25, 30, 35, it doesn't matter. You have control of whatever you're doing. The difference is that at 19 you don't know any better. I think is the big thing. Casey and I talked about this the other day. At 19 years old, like you don't have a wife, you don't have a kid, you don't have a house.
Yeah,
you're just like, dude, it's all about me. What can I do? And you're thinking big. At 25 and 30, I think sometimes we start to lose that. And so what I want to do is I want to share with you guys some data that we have that can show you that it doesn't matter where you're at in your life. It doesn't matter, what your current situation is. If you want it bad enough, you can have it. So Mark Boggs responds to an ad. He comes and works with us. I can remember the first time I met you, Jenny and I, we drove out to Columbus, Ohio. Mark's, you're from Delphus, but our office was in Columbus. It's a brand new, we were just kind of starting that market up. So Mark was actually part of a real big turning point in our business. That was when we really started to grow. We went out there and we started to build a team kind of around you, really. And you started off in sales. So when Mark started, what we did was we had a presenter going out and doing presentations, basically getting Mark leads, and Mark's job was to go in and just basically close deals. So Mark knows nothing about our business. He's got very little training, a couple months of knocking doors, and 19 years of breathing oxygen, really. And Mark quickly became the best salesman, one of the best salesmen that we ever had. At the time, he was our top guy by miles. He was the top guy not only within our industry, but within Energy Comfort Systems, the company that I own, that is the umbrella company that owns your company, which we'll talk about in a minute, is the biggest dealer for Yellow Blue Ecotech. Yellow Blue is a nationwide company, and at the time, you were like one of the top guys at 19 years old, no money, no rich parents, no college degree, making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a week, right?
Right.
So let's talk about that, Mark. If you're watching this and you're thinking, well, that sounds cool and all, but you got to have a company like that to do it. Well, they're out there, guys. We're out there. I know. Daniel, he's out there. He's got companies like that. Jordan Fournier's got companies like that. Jay Mahia's got a company like that. Jamin Lehman's got a company like that. They're out there, but the difference is that Mark went out and saw it. So if you're watching our live last week, on Monday, we were talking about how if you really want to make a change, you just got to go out and take the first step. So you came and worked with us. What would you say was the big difference between what you did before and what you were doing then? Let's not talk about what you're doing now. We'll get to that.
Sure.
But what you were doing when you started in a new vehicle.
What the biggest difference was, and when I was, completely sold, because you have to be sold on your own deal, right?
Yep.
What really sold me on it was the amount of training, the amount of attention that you put on perfecting your craft. That was probably the biggest thing, because I remember my training with the cable provider I was with. I think the most valuable part of the training I got was how to avoid a dog bite.
Yeah. That's
quite
important.
frankly,
I think you should know that.
yeah, right. I mean, you definitely should know that. But no, I mean, it's just, it really, that would be the biggest difference, Nathan, is the structure that you had in place for me to come in and excel. I mean, it was a very seamless transition.
So to kind of clarify what he's saying, and I appreciate that. Thank you for giving us a little bit of credit. But
absolutely,
the biggest part about that is that, number one, I learned part of my story that you guys heard last week, and you'll continue to hear me say every single week, is that you can't scale a business without a process. That's the big thing. And so I have a very similar story to Mark. My story kind of, he met me in a point in my life where my story was kind of at a different place, but it all boils down to you have to have a process. And so if you have a process in place, you have a system to follow, and you're the kind of guy like Mark that is willing to go out there and just take a chance, it can work, right?
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this, Mark. The first time you went out and you ran a call, and if you guys don't know what we do, we work with families in their homes. So we sell different products. I'm not even going to talk about what we do, but we basically go into people's homes and we find problems and we assess the problems and we suggest solutions to them through our products and services. And so Mark, when you came and started working with us, the first few times you did that, did you just instantly start doing it, or did you?
I did not.
No, I don't even remember, honestly. So I kind of.
Well, actually, the first lead I ran, is what I would call now a lay down.
Okay.
You know,
So it was an easy sale.
it was a
If you don't know
very,
what a laydown
yeah.
is, if you're not in sales, a laydown is someone that basically is a pretty easy sale. You know, you didn't have to try real hard for it. There was no real objections or anything, right?
You know, it was just pretty much me not messing it up.
Okay.
You know, is all it really was. But I did, you know, with the training that we had, I was comfortable with what we were doing.
Okay.
But I wasn't to the point where it's, you know, it's unconscious. It's easy to do.
So you had to follow process. So
right.
So you the first one was a lay down. The second one, do you remember a point when it kind of clicked with you? Do you have a and if you don't, you can say you don't, but do you ever remember a moment when it was like, all right, I got it now?
Kind of like some aha moment. Yeah. I think
Samaha.
Honestly, it was probably a couple conversations I had. You know, what was really cool with when I was working within your company, the communication that we had with everybody else that was already doing it.
Sure.
You know, and there was a couple times where I was working the deal and I was kind of getting stalemated in a way, and a few of the other reps said, "Mark, you're so close. You just have to do this and this different," and it did click. You know, it really did at that point.
So far, I'm taking notes here. So far, you've mentioned taking a chance. So not even taking a chance, but being willing to put yourself out there and make a move. Number one. Number two, following a system. So if you're watching this and you're like, man, I want to do something different, here's what you need to look for. Okay, if you're looking at a company that you might want to switch to or you might want to take a chance with, and you're in an industry that you're looking at moving into an industry that you're not familiar with. Here's the steps that a guy like Mark took that you could take too. I want you to be able to take something away from this. Number one, you have to be willing to actually do it. So that's part of it. A lot of people out there talk about wanting to do things, and I actually get a lot of messages from people that say they want to make moves. I know for a fact that they're not ever going to do anything. You know. So number one is that you have to be not only willing to talk about it, but be willing to do it. You were willing, if the vehicle was right, you were willing to basically cut ties with a $60,000 a year job that you could make $100,000 with, right? Is that the first accurate statement?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
So that's number one. Number two, though, in order for you to do that, you number one had to like the company. So if you've already decided that, look, I'm ready to do it. If it comes up, I'm willing to leave. You have to, number one, like the company and believe in the product and what they're doing, right?
Absolutely.
You mentioned earlier that you liked the fact that we were in energy. You saw that as an opportunity. It made sense to you. So you're willing to take a chance. You like the company and you like the product. The next thing is that you said it had to have a system or they had to have a process in place. So some of you say, hey, I'm going to make a decision to move. I know people that do this in the car business. I'm not going to take anything away from some of you guys because some of my best friends, in fact, take a moment to say this. Jason Akers, a real good friend of mine, a mentor of mine. He's the general manager of Team Toyota. We're going to have him in here, but you know, he'd be a good example of a guy that has a good system in place. They're a good company. You can go work with them. But what if you're willing to take the chance and you find a company that you like, but they don't have a system in place or they're just kind of all over the place? Would you say that you probably shouldn't move forward with that?
Right. You're exactly right. You have to have some kind of system, some kind of guideline that's going to show you that it's predictable. You know, that's the cool part about the process is.
So you need to be able to see that other people have already done it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. The proof is in the pudding. You know, you see the numbers, you see what's going on, you see how everything's laid out from A to Z, and it's very, very easy to make a choice at that point.
So if you're watching this, if you're a salesperson or if you're a waitress and you're looking at getting into a new career, you need to make sure that the company that you're looking at moving to or moving the industry that you're moving into has processes in place that you can follow. Okay, we're going to talk to you in a minute about when it's up to you to go and follow those processes. But if they've got nothing, don't waste your time because you need to make sure that you've got the right vehicle to help you be successful. If you're a business owner and you're watching this, you might want to take a little look and an inventory check on what you got going on and find out if your business has processes to recruit to. I see Kevin Hutnick joined us. Kevin is a good example of a guy that has absolutely blown up. Happy anniversary, Kevin. It's his 1 year anniversary in business.
That's awesome.
He took a chance. He left a really successful place with good people. I know the guys over there. They're super nice people. But he took a chance, and if he had just gone off on his own and just decided that, hey, look, I'm just going to open my own deal, but he didn't have processes in place and systems in place. It would have been a waste of time because nobody is going to leave what they're doing to go into something that has no organization, right?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So the
Exactly.
next thing that you talked about is communication and the willingness to help other people, right? Let's talk about that. So within our group, you're at a point now. Well, actually, let's forget about that. Let's talk about where you're at now because we could be here all night. What are we doing now? You came and joined us 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Has it been 4? About
Well, I think it's just 3.
okay,
Just been
3 years.
Yep.
So 3 years ago, you were 19 years old. You were working with another company selling cable. Now, today, you followed our process. You mastered our process. You became one of our top salesmen. Now, what's Mark Boggs' life like now?
Now, I've got a business in town. We're
Okay.
in my hometown. We're right on 302 North Main Street. If you want to check us out,
What's the business called, Mark?
it's called Pure Solutions.
All right.
Is the business name.
And what does Pure Solutions do?
What we do is we help homeowners reduce their energy consumption by installing energy savings products in their home. We specialize, of course, in the attic space,
Sure.
and what we use is a multi-layered insulation. It reflects.
Ooh,
Yes.
that sounds cool.
Yes, it does. Yes.
I'd like to hear about
I'll
that.
have to check it out. Yeah, it's really, really neat. So what it does is it reflects the heat and sends that radiant source of heat back to where it came from. In addition to that, we've got a really great product line with the solar fans.
Sure.
We've got a probiotic better air unit that helps clear up the ductwork within your home. So if you're sitting at home thinking and you're at the house, take a look in those ductwork, see what you got going on in there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it can be pretty nasty in there.
Sure. So you sell a line of products, and where do you get those products from?
We get them from a company called Energy Comfort Systems.
You get them from Energy Comfort Systems, and we're a dealer for a big company called Yellow Blue Ecotech. Actually, Yellow Blue Ecotech is a part of an umbrella of companies called Eco Technologies, and they are in the energy space. They're in the fire protection space. They're in the healthy home space, commercial LED lighting. So they're in a whole bunch of areas. Over the years, Energy Comfort Systems, the company that I own, has become the top. We're the biggest dealer for them. This year we'll be the biggest dealer for them. But we've now branched off, and we have guys like you. We have Shout Green, which is owned by the Mejias. We have a couple others. But so Mark, now, I mean, what's your life like now? You're not a salesman anymore. I mean, you're still a salesman.
Right.
You're always going to be a salesman.
Of course.
Now Mark Boggs owns a business, okay? The big drum roll is that Mark Boggs now owns his own business. He's got an office right downtown in a little town called Delphus, Ohio. He's got several employees. Your mom works for you now.
She does. She does.
He's got a nice big office. I was just over there for the ribbon cutting. Some of you guys may have seen that. Mark Boggs, 4 years ago, was a kid not knowing what he was going to do with his life. He knew that there was more and that life was more than going to college and just getting a job. But you didn't really know what you were going to do. 4 years later, and actually, you probably did know what you were going to do. I knew. Somebody asked me the other day, did you ever think that this, and I knew what the fuck I was going to do, right?
Right.
You did too. You knew what you were going to do. But you didn't know the vehicle was going to be in. But you fast forward now, Mark Boggs, how much business have you done this year?
From January 1st to October 27th, we're right about $1.3 million in business.
$1.3 million
in sales.
in business. Wow.
Oh, man.
And you've got 2 more months left in the year.
Yep.
What are you averaging? We're probably averaging a couple 100,000 or about 120,000 a month. So you'll probably finish off in the 1.5 million range.
Yep.
How in your 23? So 23 years old. His business is going to do 1.3 million this year. Look, man, that's a lot of money. All right, that's a lot of money to be coming in and out of a business. You've got guys that work for you that are going to make 6 figures.
Easy.
You're helping your mom. You're helping your community. I was in your town, man. That town needs something like you. He's in a small town that's kind of like getting tired, and you got a young guy like Mark coming in there, putting a new business in there, putting a new office. And you know,
it's really fun, Nathan. It's exciting to put that in there and to talk to people in the community about it. You know, that building, it's been a bunch of different things, but it actually was sitting empty for 18 months.
Wow.
You know, and I came across it and I was like, well, that has to be it.
That's awesome, man. So if you're watching this, if you guys could do us a favor, number one, I need you to blow up Mark Boggs here. Hit him up on Facebook. Can people follow you on Instagram? Are you on Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. You can
follow him.
You can find me.
He's the man. So he's 23. I'm 33. I'm on Facebook and Instagram now. but he's on all of them, so you can find him on all of them. But Mark, what would you say if I get asked a lot, and the reason why I started doing this, at the point that I'm at now, I've got a beautiful wife and I got little girls, and like my day starts at about 4:30 in the morning. It goes until about 10, 11 o'clock at night every single night. I don't have a ton of extra time, but I decided to do this because people reach out all the time and they ask like, how can we be a part of what you're doing? What should I do? I get asked that a lot. Mark, you're 23 years old. What would you say to somebody that's watching this that's like got inspired? Because someone's going to watch this and be like, dude, that's cool. I want to do that. I want to do that. What would you say to them? I mean, not everybody can come work for me. Not everyone can come work for you. That's
Absolutely.
not what we're talking about. We're not trying to recruit people. But what would you say to people if they're stuck in a rut and they're wanting more?
I would say that there is more out there for you, and don't try to put limitations on yourself. Think as big as you possibly can. Think as scary as you can possibly set your goals. And go for it. And if you're truly committed to the goals that you want to have in place, Nathan, your actions, those actions will take you there.
Mark, I asked you to send me your goals the other day. I said I want to know I asked everybody within an organization what are our goals, and what was one of your goals? What'd you say?
Well, I want to clear $1 million a year.
Okay, he wants to make 7 figures.
Yep. But Nathan, my biggest goal is I want to help other people out. I mean, that's really what I want to be able to do. I want to help people empower their lives. I want to help people take control of their lives. And
why
really,
though? Why do you want to do that? That's easy. Everyone says that.
I
believe you, and I'm not being confrontational. But I'm saying, why would you want to do that?
Because it's a lot more satisfying. In sales, you can find a gig doing anything.
Sure.
You could sell widgets, fidgets, whatever it is. And if you know how to sell, you can find a career anywhere.
Sure.
But what's really rewarding and what's most fun is being able to help out somebody that, like I've got a buddy, his name's Eric. He just started working with
kid,
me.
by the way.
Great kid. I just started working with him about a month ago. And he was working in the factory in town, and he was kind of upset, a little, in a rut, just
Sure.
like you were saying, in a rut. And he's worked with us for a month now, and he's learning so much. He's making some really good money. I mean, it's really exciting, Nate, and that's what's most fulfilling to me is being able to help other people out in that regard.
I'll tell you what, I feel like I feel like a proud parent hearing that in a way, because you're right, man. That's what it's about. So look, guys, if you're at the end of the day, you'll get to a point. I want to make more money. Okay, like I would be lying if I said that what I do every day was just totally selfless. Because the reality is, I want to earn as much money as I possibly can. Let's see, what's Jay saying here? Oh, move your mic. They can't see your face. They're saying,
you can't see me?
Scoot your mic over a little. No, but what I was saying was,
Thanks, Jay.
at some point though, you kind of get to a point where you obviously want to make more money, but the biggest satisfaction is seeing other people get excited. And so the reason I want to say that is that if you're at a job or you're in a place in your life where your boss or your manager, whoever, isn't as concerned about your success as they are their own, I think you should probably take an inventory check on that and make sure you're in the right vehicle. And I would say to managers out there, if you're owning a business, and I see there's a lot of business owners on this call, if you wake up every day trying to figure out how can I make myself more money, where can I go and shave a penny, where can I go and make up a few dollars, if that's what you're thinking every day, trust me when I say this, you might have some success. You might have relative success compared to the people that you're around, but that next level, the level up success, really comes when your intentions are with other people. I'm just telling you, it's not as, I mean, it sounds good on a meme on Facebook, but the reality is you have to live that. And the people that I know, again, a lot of them are watching on this, but the people that I know that are truly out there creating good businesses with good systems that people can come in and thrive in, and then when they come in, they're loving on them and they're really helping them do good things. Those are the people that have the stuff that you don't have. So if you're watching this and you don't have that, if you're watching this and you got a staff of people that don't respect you, if you're watching this and you're a manager and you're like, you know what, I would love to do that, but my people don't respect me. You know what? Dude, you're not respecting your people. You're not loving on them. You're not treating them right, because when you treat them good, they just don't leave. I mean, I'm just telling you, they just don't.
That's true.
When you give them attention, when you help them achieve their goals, when you're truly concerned and you're truly tapped into what it is that they really want, man, you'll get the things you want, you know. So, Mark, yeah, that's so what's up, Mark? What are we gonna do, man? You're here. I made this note here. I said, no college, no money, no rich parents, small town, big thinking. You got big thinking. You want to be making $1 million a year. I can tell you this, that you're 23 years old. By the time you're 33 years old, $1 million a year is going to be stupid.
Yeah,
you're going to be bored with that. And by the time you've got a good family and a wife and kids and all that stuff, you're going to be having yourself a really nice life if you keep doing what you're doing. Friends, if you're watching this, you know what we want to do, what us as a group. I've got a lot of people like Mark on my team. I got a lot of friends like Mark. I've said this before, that no matter where you're at, all right, if you're in my industry, if you're out selling something in people's homes, I could probably help you. Okay. If you're out there and you're in the car business, I know that some of the best in the car business. If you're working you're selling Cutco knives, or you're selling some company's product in another state, I've got a really big network, and I want to connect you with some good people. I want to really help people identify their strengths and put them in the vehicle that they need to be in. If you're locally here, I can tell you this. If you want to be in my business, I'll find a place for you if you're qualified and you'll do the work. If you want to go and get in almost any industry that you can possibly think of, we know the people that can connect you there, and I want to help you do that, and I don't want anything for it. I just want to get you in the vehicle so that you can be successful as you possibly can. Casey, you want to talk about what we got going on? November 1st, we're going to be doing a group here. Can you post the link down there? We're going to be doing a group starting November 1st. We're going to be working with some people. We've got a bunch of people signed up already. We got a bunch of people that we're working with. But we are going to be doing a group here that if you're at a place in your life where you want to go from knocking doors to making $500,000 a year or more, if you want to go from making 60 grand a year to just 65 grand a year, I think I can help you. Okay. I believe that over the years, we've created some really cool systems. I've got a lot of people like Mark that have gone from one place in their life to another place in their life, and I want to help you do that too. And so for the first time ever, we're going to do a group, and we're going to help some people level up. We're going to help some people get wherever it is in their life that they want to go. I am plugging something right now, just so you know. And Mark Boggs, you'll be a part of that. Mark Boggs will be on that. If you're in that group and you want to connect with Mark Boggs, I'm going to make sure that you get to do that. It's not going to cost you any extra to do that. I'm going to make sure you get some time with him. If you're in the real estate world and you join this group and you're wanting to know how you can level up your real estate career, I'm going to connect you with the best in the business. If you're in car sales, I'm going to get you with the people that can help you do it, because that's what we're going to do. Mark, thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate you having on this. I appreciate having you here. We're having a big party tomorrow night, so you're going to be in for the weekend. Follow us. We're going to be doing some cool stuff. That's it, man. Appreciate you coming in, dude.
Awesome, Nate. It's an honor being here.
Love you, Mark.
Keep doing more, man. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Make sure you share this. Follow us. Love you. Mean it.